Marry me, but just for honest. Okay, it is like, I think it's about 5 o'clock. Oh my bad. It's 5:21 in the morning and I've got to be at work for 6. So, I've got to get this done quick because I usually leave around now to get there. Okay, but I've got an issue. My issue is family. Most people have them. Most people don't actually sit at the dinner table with the family when having dinner, and that's completely understandable. It's due to society having to change because of all the reforms and all the new laws and all this and work and all sorts of crap. So you're basically at work pretty much 24/7, and you don't have time to sit down sometimes with your family every day at the table and say, hey, so what have you been talking about? I get to do that with my family maybe 2 or 3 times a week because I'm always working, and like my shift patterns are crazy. My shift patterns are like 12 and a half hours to 15 hours and then less, and it's hectic. So I'll be at work from 6 in the morning and I won't finish until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I've been on my feet my entire time. So I'm never home or never around my family in order to kind of share with them my problems or share with them different issues of the day or ask them about their problems and issues of the day. So it's very tiring. But anyway, my issue is, what are families today? What are they? If you go and ask your grandparents what family meant to them, they're going to tell you something slightly different to what you believe now. And my issue it's an overall basis. It's all about family and it's about the elderly. This might end up being a 2-part video. I apologise if it is, but it's something that I'm very passionate about. Something that I can't really fathom, as it were. Right, I'm going to get to the point because I'm starting to babble. What are family? What are they supposed to be? For me, family ideally are supposed to be a bunch of people, big or small, that you're supposed to be able to turn to in times of need, times of trouble, times of celebration, times of if somebody dies in your family, you're all supposed to gather together to celebrate that person's life. You know, that's basically what family is, and that's what family is all about. The same can go for friends sometimes. It depends on how close you are with your friends. Like if somebody died out of your group, you're all supposed to get together and celebrate that person's life. You know, and you're supposed to turn to that person because you've got that secret and you might have done that, but you don't know how to tell people, so you tell your friends, etc., etc. So I'm sure most of you have heard of that phrase, blood is thicker than water. Well, now, that's understandable, that's completely utterly true in some senses, but for me, blood and water are pretty much the same thing. I get on more with my friends than I do with my family. I don't know why that is. It's just how it is. I know from when I was little, I was getting vibes and I would hear things growing up that I didn't quite understand that my family were saying about me or my mum. When me and my mum first moved to the UK, it was like, I wouldn't say it was hell, it was just very, very different to hang about with members of my family, my larger extended family. They became quite two-faced, they became quite dark, and to put it simply, they were basically users. They just used me and my mum for pretty much anything. There were only a few members of the family, however, who weren't actually related to us by blood, who actually did things for us, and we did things for them. And those people were now, you know, years later, are just friends of the family, or just friends of that person, or that person's ex. But they're still very good friends, and they were really, really nice to us when we were younger. And when I was younger, I remember a family friend teaching me how to walk. Although there were a few other people who kind of sort of assumed that they all helped out, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. It was just this one person, and they taught me how to walk. Her, along with my mum, and with my aunt, and a few of my aunt's friends from the hospital, they all taught me how to talk, basically. How to be a little lady who demanded everything. Which I think my mum completely and utterly regrets, because as soon as I learned how to talk, I never learned to shut up. So, my main issue with that. It's just I don't understand why families. Some families are so great, and yet when you have friends, your friends become your family. Your friends are the people that you ideally should have anyway in your life. The way that your friends act, behave around you, or with you, or behind you, or without you, is exactly what your family should be doing. And what I don't understand, in some senses, because I know most people have an amazing family. Most people get on with their parents just fine, their cousins, their aunts, just fine, and everything seems to be, perfect. But why is it that the extended family continue to smile at your face, but once you are turned, why is it that they're so dark and bitchy and just, why are they users? I don't really get that. This is gonna sound like a rant, but it's an issue that I've had to deal with for the past year. We've had quite a few celebrations, whether it be birthdays, christenings, or whatever. And I've walked into like the church, or I've walked into the house or the building, or wherever it is that my family is, and my face just drops from the, because people in that room are just so two-faced. It is unbelievable. I don't quite understand why friends, if you ask them to, will do absolutely anything for you. Earlier this year, I got out of a really, really bad relationship, and I was frightened to shit, right? And it was not very nice. It was not a very nice relationship, and the way it ended was incredibly wrong. And I was freaking out. Literally minutes after the massive argument and massive kind of fest that we had, I called my best friend, well, one of my best friends, and I told him, look, I'm freaking out. What do I do? I'm guessing I'm going to have to stay here and just talk with you. And my friend stopped me before I even got to finish my sentence, because he kind of knows what I'm like. He knows what I'm going to say next. And he stopped what I said and said, pack all your stuff, pack what you can, I'm coming to get you. And within 4 hours, he arrived on the other side of England, packed all my stuff in the back of his van, and I was basically gone. I hadn't seen my ex or anything. I was actually quite shocked, because I was expecting maybe a cousin to come and help me. I was expecting somebody else to maybe come and help me, but I knew deep down that I wouldn't be able to call them, because they're not the kind of people who would help me out or help my mum out or just help us out in general. They're the kind of people who would only help themselves out and only help their brothers and sisters out. And that was just kind of how they were. Growing up, I always got that vibe that people didn't like me, and it's true. It was confirmed this year by somebody, that people in my family didn't like me. Whenever there were weddings or anything, all the young girls and boys in the family, including me, or no, excluding me, sorry, were all allowed to be bridesmaids and little kind of page boys for this person who was getting married, for various people who were getting married. And whenever my auntie went forward and asked, why isn't Sai a bridesmaid, there would be no answer. They'd just say, oh, I didn't know she was going to come. So I was always left out as a child. I was always kind of, you know. Anyway, I'm ranting. But what I basically want to know from you guys is basically, what is family to you? What does it mean to you? What does family mean to your grandparents? Because they're going to be like the last of the generation who actually had dinners with their families every single day. And how do you think it's changed? Is it exactly the same way that you did it, or is it not? Does your extended family help out your family, your immediate family, and do you do everything you can to help out your extended family, like all the time? No sweat, no worry. Just you just do it. That's just how you are. I would really, really like to know, because it's something that's been bugging me for ages, and I just thought I'd like to share with the community about family and family awareness, basically. So just kind of, if you haven't picked up the phone and spoken to your cousin in 5 years that you used to get on with when you were kids, then just do it, because I've been through problems before where I hadn't spoken to somebody in so long, and then when I pick up the phone to talk to them, I find out that person might have died, or they've moved countries and not left any contact details whatsoever. So it's a very hard thing. So I'm just trying to spread the love, people. Spread family awareness, and just kind of get back to me with your answers. Blessed be.